Napoleon Bonaparte. The name conjures up images of a diminutive general forever etched in our minds as a short, power-hungry conqueror. Yet this pervasive image is a historical misconception. Napoleon was not short, at least not by the standards of his time. The myth of his diminutive stature needs to be dispelled. Napoleon's true height, often debated among historians, was likely around 5 feet 6 inches in modern measurements. This might seem average today, but in the late 18th century it was a respectable height for a Frenchman. So how did this misconception arise? The answer lies in a web of historical circumstances and deliberate manipulation. The myth of Napoleon's height serves as a potent example of how history can be distorted. It reminds us to approach historical narratives with a critical eye, always questioning the stories we are told. One key factor contributing to the myth was the difference between French and British measurement systems. At the time, the French paus was slightly longer than the British inch. Napoleon's height, recorded as 5 feet 2 inches in French units, was mistakenly translated directly into British measurements, making him appear shorter than he actually was. This discrepancy was further exploited by the British, who were engaged in a fierce propaganda war against Napoleon. British caricaturists seized upon this perceived physical shortcoming, portraying Napoleon as a comically small figure driven by an inferiority complex. These caricatures, widely circulated, played a significant role in solidifying the image of a short and comically ambitious Napoleon in the public imagination. This deliberate misrepresentation of his height served as a powerful tool to undermine Napoleon's image, portraying him as a figure of ridicule rather than a formidable leader. Another contributing factor was Napoleon's nickname, Le Petit Caporal, which translates to the Little Corporal. This moniker, however, had nothing to do with his physical stature. It was an affectionate nickname bestowed upon him by his soldiers during his early campaigns in Italy. It reflected their admiration for his bravery, leadership, and ability to connect with them on a personal level. Despite its origins in camaraderie and respect, the nickname Le Petit Caporal was often misinterpreted, feeding into the misconception of Napoleon's height. The British press, eager to portray Napoleon in a negative light, capitalized on this nickname, further cementing the image of a diminutive and almost comical figure in the minds of the British public. This misinterpretation highlights how even seemingly insignificant details can be twisted and manipulated to influence public perception, particularly during times of conflict and propaganda. Finally, the imposing stature of Napoleon's imperial guard contributed to the illusion. The grenadiers of the guard, his elite bodyguard, were all men of exceptional height, towering over Napoleon. This stark contrast in stature likely amplified the perception of Napoleon's height, making him appear smaller in comparison. The myth of Napoleon's height, despite its historical inaccuracy, persists to this day. It colors our perception of this complex and influential figure, often overshadowing his military genius and political acumen. This enduring myth reminds us of the power of perception and the enduring legacy of even the most unfounded historical narratives.